Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Today we are starting the trial. We're seeing how Edgeworth fares as the defense attorney. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby Number 1. Oh my! Mr. Luis feels that way about me? Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Lyris is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Doonan, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Worry not. Don't worry. I've taken the necessary steps. You have? Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe into the bitter end. That's what a friend of mine told me once. Mr. Edgeworth? You may pass judgment on me from the defendant's chair. You are the one to decide whether or not I am able to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. February 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Here I go, Miles. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
My other goat. Hi! The prosecution stands ready. And you are... Francisco von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance, you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then, must be quite a big shot, eh? Now's your chance to be a big shot. Be a big shot. By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't. But I'm sure, once before, in this courtroom, I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip hat.
Hold it!
Hey, there's his hold it. I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgevis. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright today, but looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgevis, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case, with as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Dunham. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Crime photo as the court record. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. This was the doing of Sister Iris. The courtyard where Elise Dunham was murdered. Also, relate. Why is he over there now? Franziska Von Karma, age 19, gender female. Yeah, she was 18. Was she 18 or 19 in the last game? What? I can't remember. Age 19, gender female. My mentor, Manfred von Karma's daughter. Born and raised in Germany. Prosecutor at 13. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and my last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for witnesses with bad backs. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in the summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? That night I was helping Acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temples, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement you just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle. Not now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Let my dog out. Go, Pepe. Night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with the training in the inner temple, but...
Hold it!
What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It is all quite exacting. It can't be performed without an unsupervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case? If that is the case, then why did you return to Hospital Temple, where the murder took place? Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and a fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right, raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to house security. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolyte so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I need a long, hot soak. So, you returned to the Hosakura Temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... A pathetic Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. But...
Hold it!
No, wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. God damn it. Alright. Save. Alright. Alright. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on the powers. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights-out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that... A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Ugh. All the people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Objection, Your Honor, I just got fucking whipped earlier. Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question. Dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. That night I was helping Nicola. Iris came to the inner temple. She was just exactly as she'd been at dinner.
Hold it!
Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Nah. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place was stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake. An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder.
Objection!
Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met. She was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day, now isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this food was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights-out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims... The defendant couldn't have been wearing this very hood. Well. Oh my god, she's so fucking short. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court. Okay. What the fuck? The fucking hurts. Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each town is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that ours owned. This is quite strange. Eh. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. The seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. God, I love playing as Edgeworth. He's my favorite. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, mystical Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystical Elise was staying in the corner room, which fades out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court, and me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look as a fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Huh. I finished my bath at around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple.
Hold it!
How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think for a moment. About 20 minutes, on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond that bridge. Still, you never made it back stairs that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and...
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise. So, just like that. That could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. So, just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that. The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of that sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... Iris was, mystical Elise, and with that sword of all things.
Hold it!
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant. But some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to. The murderer who stabbed the victim with a sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please don't keep us in suspense. Her hood? Her hood? That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Ha! You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem. Bum 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 bum. Oh. Sorry. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on.
Hold it!
You are sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a Vibbit puppy instead of my Vip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now please tell us about the victim, eh? Mystical Lace was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard.
Hold it!
The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means that the victim's room was on the second floor. No, Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gates out of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried things to her room, after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window.
Hold it!
What makes you so sure of all this? Wait. It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only two of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? It doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony too. She claims to have seen the incident in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Which I am not. Okay. Save's coming.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. Ah, sorry. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Ah! Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is a logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Dunham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that... I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware. When a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about... If you want to talk about when the blood would be... If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order, order, order! I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clear testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the truth, please. Witness, please! Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip. Oh boy. Alright, alright. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I woke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strives for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Maya Zedves. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma, and I'm here to teach you just that. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. No. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Elise. Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking of for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports our theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Going back on your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now, you say you saw the victim bleeding. Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Why is... I feel like the T in it, in the hold it, was drawn to look like a Japanese character. Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out. Alliteration. That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mr. Kami. Mr. Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mr. Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That's something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. I've seen so much blood before. Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistake in it. I remember it all clear as day. Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? What? If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the cold statue, then there would be no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Von Karma? That's... Indeed, it is strange now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness? That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes. A young man with a very prickly-looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually. I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation. Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender, personally. What did you see upon awakening? When I awoke, Mr. Gami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. By Mystic Ami, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with a Shichishito with sacred treasure is terrible enough, but to then make Mr. Gami hold the blade? Truly a heinous, despicable crime. It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often found myself... There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shichishito from the Ami statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon finally placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear to be strong enough for that.
Objection!
Doesn't appear? What a meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. But that isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. But the wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop from bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the Shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. I'm not finished. Also, that's a complete conjecture on her end. Like, Edgeworth could very easily prove his theory, just fill the tub up with water and stab the tub. But despite that, Francisco's argument was that it is possible. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in and all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Ah! If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood alongside the entire length of the sword. No! Order, order, eh! Bravo, Miles Edgeverse. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. Also, other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well... it's because Mr. Gami was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shito was the murder weapon. Order, order, order! Eh! So maybe the Shito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeverse. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Witness testimony. Location of the weapon. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. I was could have done that. You can drive a snowmobile after all. Okay, sorry. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know? Quite. There were indeed some mobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hasakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Tracks photo added to the court record. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? Tracks photo. Type photograph submitted as evidence by Francisca Von Karma, taken that night from main gate to Dusky Bridge. Touch the check button for details. The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't quite freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did you really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. You are sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Why was that? Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11 I decided to leave Hasakura Temple. Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who trampled me. It seems she's the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back, so I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, if she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it is still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see, I never thought of that. That's right, I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses! It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. Ah, there's a reason for that. Have you got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. It's possible to get back to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that it is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Iris could have done that. She can drive snowmobile after all. While it would have been possible, time-wise, what element remains out of place here? Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there's surely a problem with his testimony. Now all I have to do is stop poking holes in this flawed account. Hold on. Let me save scum. Because I don't know if this is correct. Nope, it's not correct. That statement contradicts the data provided by this piece of evidence. It does? How do you mean? Forgive me, Your Honor, but you yourself just said that it does. Don't try to play mind games with me. Curses. It appears I've yet to adjust to being on the side of the courtroom. And came back? Okay. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hosakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. You're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? I see. While she went to the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain? Why there is a rude index finger currently pointing in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Is it this? It's one of these two. Because I can't see, like, anything else proving it. Let me save again. I will save scum.
Take that!
Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard, in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right. But proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow. There's just one exception. And that is... the victim herself, Miss Elise Dunham. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Ah! Order! Just what are you... Yeah! Just what are you saying, my Zedvaz? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were gone. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remain. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross a suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible! Order in the court! What does this all mean? So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've arrived at this point due to the witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. Well then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that, unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Excuse me, I don't know if you heard that, but I kind of burped. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, I actually have an idea. There may have been one individual able to help us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? A boot.
Take that!
This guy must be the product of Jean-Luc de Lodoc's guide to obnoxious French painting. This is Larry Butts, the student of the victim Millie Stunin. A student? Interesting. Why was he wandering on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, is this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man? What exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately! I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. To be continued. And we will interrogate and extract everything we need from Larry Butts next time. Bye-bye!